Hey everybody, it's Vallen from Mischief of Mice, here with a bit by bit on Botania. Today we're going to be covering quality of life items. Now this is going to primarily be earlier game, but essentially these are simpler to make items that can make your playtime that much easier to do. Alright, to start off with, I'm going to show you a quick little thing of changes with these dispensers here. Now, essentially, they are made the same, nothing really big there, but they function a little bit better with Botania items. I have a runic altar here, and inside I have some mana steel ingots and a rune of mana. I put a button on there just to demonstrate that, it is actually currently on the altar. So if I keep on clicking, now, this is a very poor method, but I'm just using this for demonstration purposes. But you essentially get the items on there, and you can create yourself an automated system for making things. So it's pretty cool like that. On top of that, you can actually use these to make yourself plants. They can actually plant crops. So that could be pretty darn beneficial. I'm going to remove that just so that it doesn't end up trying to grow a tree, like it did down there. Alright, now to get into some other items. Let's get rid of these items here. Don't need that, don't need that. We've got a Manastar flower. Now this is made, I've already got the recipe set up here, with a cyan, light blue, red, and green petals in a petal apothecary. Toss in your seeds, and you get yourself a Manastar. Very simple, rather pretty flower, and what it does when placed down next to a mana pool, for instance right here, you'll see as the mana pool receives mana, it will let you know if it is currently gaining, there's the blue flashes there, or losing mana, which would be red flashes. Now this one over here is a better example. You'll actually see it's got some red going on, and then blue, so it's got both coming and going flashes of mana. So you'll see if it's mostly blue, then it's going to be getting a net gain. If it's mostly red, it's going to be a net loss. So it just gives you an idea. It's not too hard to make, and it's a flower that won't disappear over time unless you get rid of it. So that's just a little quick and easy item. Now to get into a little more interesting of ones. I have here one of the most coveted items in Botania, the Sojourner's Sash. It's a rather early game item because you just need an air rune, earth rune, mana steel ingot, and 4 pieces of leather will make you a Sojourner's Sash. Now, allow me to get into my baubles menu. I currently have a different sash on, but you can see, let me actually take the all sashes off, and you can see I'm going rather slow. Now if I were to, I keep on hitting the wrong button, put on my Sojourner's Sash, I'm going much faster. Now obviously if I run, I'm going to go even faster still. So that can be extremely useful. On top of that, it's also going to give you a step assist. So as I walk up 1 block high items, I'll automatically walk up them as if they were a level surface. And it gives you a little bit better of jump distance, so I can actually jump 2 blocks high. For instance, I can't walk on top of this petal apothecary, but I can jump on top of it because it's 2 blocks high. Now, on top of that, it also gives you like an extra block to fall from, so you don't take damage from that 1 extra block height. No big deal. It's really cool, really handy and useful. But to top that off, there's also a plain Strider's Sash. This is made using a Sojourner's Sash, and it also takes an empty map. Now, if you have it as such, like you just made it and you haven't actually clicked the map yet, it will not work. So you're going to want to click it first, and then it'll end up working. But of course, if I put that in this demonstration here, it just does that. So I'm getting rid of this here. Let's get rid of that. All right. It'll also take sugar and one of these pasture seeds. Now, in order to make a pasture seed, just get yourself a piece of grass that you ended up cutting with some shears. Toss them into a mana pool. You can see there it says grass will turn into a pasture seed. And there you go, pasture seed. And what these do, actually, I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but essentially if you have dirt nearby, now I covered these up so that it wouldn't automatically get planted with oak saplings. Plant one here, and it will actually start expanding grass in an area rather quickly. So it can be really beneficial, so you don't have to keep on digging up and replanting dirt in order to get grass down or something like that. It can help spread it really quick and easy. Now on top of that, you combine it with a Sojourner's Sash as such, piece of sugar in that once clicked empty map. You get the Plainstrider's Sash. Now let's see what this one does. It's a little bit more refined. Now you'll notice I'm still walking the same speed, not really that fast, but over time I'll actually start going faster. So the further you walk uninterrupted, the faster you end up going. So you can see I'm actually starting to pick up a bit of speed here, and this overall has the fastest speed of any of the sashes once you've built up some speed. So it can be quite a bit of fun, especially when you've got long distances that are flat or aren't too high. For instance, I might have, let's see if I can actually do that step up. It does do the step up as well, so you actually can get this going quite a good speed over time. It's quite a bit of fun. And now there is another sash in here, the Globetrotter Sash, but I'm not going to go into that right now because that's a little bit more endgame of an item. And I'm just going to move on to the next item. So let's get me back to my previous one here. All right, the Floral Obedience Stick. This sounds a bit wonky there, but it's just a couple of living wood twigs and a Manasteel ingot. What this does is it saves you time, which is pretty much what everything in this little bit here that I have does. So if I use it similar to a Wand of the Forest, like I right click on the Agri-Carnation, if I shift click on an Agri-Carnation, oops, let me get into bind mode. There we go. If I shift click on an Agri-Carnation, I can then bind it to a pool. There we go. Alternate, I could take, and I could do that with every single one of these, which could be a real pain. If I just shift click with this on a mana pool, now watch closely, it will bind all of the like ones in a huge area to that pool. So it makes it a lot easier for getting a whole bunch of stuff assigned to one item. So that can be really useful. Big time saver if you have a whole lot of things you need to reassign, like you end up breaking one item and you need to reassign all of them to that pool that you just moved one block or something. That could really, really help you out. Next we've got the Horn of the Wild. This is one of my favorites. Essentially, I guess we should show you how it's made. It's just some living wood around a pasture seed. No big deal. And in a large area, I'm actually going to zoom out here. If you right click while using it, it will actually destroy all the light vegetation in the entire area, and you will be able to get all the seeds and stuff from that. It's pretty cool, especially when you're clearing out an area for building or making a base. So I highly recommend this one. It is so cheap and easy to make, and it's just a big time saver, so you're not constantly breaking grass after grass after grass. Alright, the next one on the list is a Vitreous Pickaxe. This one here is pretty cool. It works similar to a Manasteel Pickaxe, which a Manasteel Pickaxe is all Manasteel ingots and a couple of twigs, but we're going to get into Manasteel armor and items in another video. This one here, it takes 2 pieces of glass, 1 Manasteel, and 2 living wood twigs. And what this does is, as I said, it's a little bit slower than a Manasteel pickaxe, but otherwise still works just fine. But it allows you, in a similar to Silk Touch method, able to harvest glass without breaking it. Now let me actually get out of my creative mode here so I don't just break the glass anyway. But and I'm going to make space on my bar. There we go. So you can see the glass blocks are actually coming loose instead of me breaking the glass, which is extremely useful. Now let me get back into my creative mode and change the time back to day so it doesn't get too late. Alright, and continuing on, we have a mana detector. Alright, this is actually a lot of fun. I have one set up. So first it's living wood, not living wood, living rock, 4 pieces with 4 pieces of redstone around a redstone comparator. Pretty basic to make, as most of these are, and I have one set up here. Let me grab a little bit of redstone, hook it up, and you can actually use it to make yourself an automated farm. Now I currently have a hopper hawk set up next to this here, and any mana bursts that pass through it, it actually doesn't act like anything. It's just empty. Nothing is there as far as mana bursts are concerned. It just accepts it as a redstone pulse. So it will send a pulse to as you desire, and I'm currently using it just as a simple cactus farm. Pretty cool. Of course, the hopper hawk's only picking up cacti, and there you go. Now that's a little bit noisy, but oh well. You get the idea of how that functions. The next one is probably one of my favorites as well. This is a mana distributor. This is just 2 mana steel ingots, a bunch of living rock, and you've got yourself your mana distributor. What this does is when mana is pulsed to it, it will evenly distribute on the 4 cardinal sides, so on the flat sides, not on the diagonals, to all of the pools surrounding it that are currently touching it. So right now you'll see there are mana pools, let me get that out of my hand, on either side, and as it's pulsing to this, it's evenly distributing the mana to either side. Now I'm going to grab another mana pool, put that there, and you can see it's currently now distributing to all 3. Now these 2 are currently shooting out to those other ones so that I can actually have my portal to Elfheim running. But this is just giving you an idea that it is currently working to distribute on all 4 sides. Now, I could still put one here as well, and it will distribute there as well on the next burst. Of course, that's if it's actually hitting it. Yeah, I think that's not quite hitting it right. But anyway, the one thing that you do need to remember is that if you have this totally surrounded with mana pools, is that it is actually hitting it. So if I use my Wand of the Forest on it and click it on this, it will actually end up going to one of these mana pools first because of the level that it's at. So you might have to do some fine-tune adjustments just to make sure it's actually hitting the mana distributor and not the mana pools. Alright, next one. This one's a lot of fun. The abstruse platform. Let me grab one of these here. It's a couple of living wood pieces with, I can't remember the name of these, pattern framed living wood and framed living wood, which those are very simple to make. Let me show you the recipe. This one here, living wood planks, just in a square, and the other one, oops, grab this one here. And this one here is just a diamond of living wood planks, which of course living wood planks are just a piece of living wood tossed into an inventory grid, and you get 4 of those. Now the abstruse platform, you place it down, and it looks kind of funky. You're like, well, that pattern's kind of weird. The idea is you can actually change what it looks like, and it has partial transparency as far as you going through it, like hit detection. Now watch, I'm going to walk right through and nothing happens, but it has one solid side, and that is the top. But if you look here, so I can still jump through it though. So it only is solid from one face, and it can be pretty darn cool. Now if I were to, let's say, take some glass, right click here, it will actually turn those into what they look like. And if I use my Wand of the Forest, right click on one of these, it will actually turn them back. So let's turn this way, and if you want all of them that are connected to look like this block here, the glass, you right click the glass. You don't like that? You just shift right click and it changes them all back. No problem. Really a lot of fun you can have with this one. I took some mana glass and covered this entire area. Now in order to get through these from above, you just press shift. or sneak in some people's cases, and you'll actually end up dropping through the platform. So you'll want to be careful that you don't end up putting something like a lava pit underneath unless that's part of your trap. So there you go. Those can be quite a bit of fun and are not too bad to make, provided you can get yourself some mana pearls. And it should make 2 abstruse platforms, not just 1. Of course, one can't forget the Horldshaper's Sextant. This is just 3 living wood twigs, a bit of mana steel ingot, and you've got yourself a Horldshaper's Sextant. Well, what does this do? It's very simple. It actually, if you hold right click, will create these little ring effect. Now, if I start looking further away, the rings get bigger. This is just to help you to better build. And it will create, where you let go, a ring of stone. Allow me to change the time back again. And it's just transparent so that you have a building guide. That's all. If you right click again, it goes away. So you can actually end up having this go quite a distance out if you want. Let's make it 43 and then zoom out so you can see. It's just so that you can make circles that much easier in Minecraft, or at least as close to a circle as one can get using squares. There you go. And here we have the diluted mana pool. Now this here is just some living rock slabs in a U shape, a partial U shape, and it'll make you a diluted mana pool. Well, a diluted mana pool is exactly the same as a regular mana pool, but it's slightly more blue and it stores considerably less. Well, Vallen, why would I want to store less in a mana pool? A buffer. That's the idea. If you just want to pass from one area to another some mana, but you don't want to store large amounts of it there, you want to store large amounts of it here, then that's all you'd really need this for. It's just a buffer, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I've used it plenty of times. I probably could have used it for this guy down here, my Exo Flame I have. I often use one of these for that, just so that I'm not sucking up all of the mana at once from my main reserves, when instead I could just pop in a piece of coal. So just something to keep in mind. And last but not least, your baubles case. This is 3 pieces of mana steel, a chest, and a piece of gold will make you a bauble case. Well, what does a bauble case do? This here, when you've got it, you right click it, it will open up your baubles inventory and a baubles storage. Now you can try putting other things in here. It's not working. I'm trying to click in there. It doesn't work. But you can put in any baubles items, which are basically anything that would fit in your bauble slots, like your necklace slot, your ring slots, or your belt slot. And you can then take them in and out as needed, and you don't have to worry about cluttering up your inventory with a whole bunch of baubles anymore. So that can be extremely useful. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and you're able to better use some of these simple tools to make your life that much easier playing Botania or even vanilla Minecraft. So until next time, see ya.